Jesus told quite a few parables about how a master would give something to two or three people who were under his employ and then leave and come back later to see how they'd handled what he'd given them. And one of them is in Matthew 25. And like all the others, the master gives them something, he goes away, then he comes back, and he judges them based on what they've done with what he's given. Matthew 25, though, has one really cool phrase in verse 19. It says, "After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them." And there's two things that are very, very important in that verse. One is, of course, the master of the servants returned, because the master in Jesus' parables always returned. There's always a judgment. There's always a place where we're judged on how we've done with what we've been given. But I want to focus on that first phrase this time. After a long time, the master returned. See, I'm a microwave person who lives in a microwave generation. I want something, I want it right now. I treat life like it's a sprint, not a marathon that it is. And so because I do that, I treat everything like it needs to be done yesterday. But the reality is the master's coming back after a long time for most of us. And our job means that there are seasons to life. If we're talking in farming terms, there's times for planting, there's times for watering, there's times for raking, there's times for taking out the weeds, there's time for harvesting, there's even times to let the ground lie fallow and rest. And it's important you recognize what season God has placed you in life. And the fact that every win doesn't have to be a big win, because it's a long process, and every little win, and every time we recognize the season we're in, and every time we live into what God wants us to do, even if it's resting sometimes, is part of the process as God prepares us for what He's doing, and He prepares to return. So whatever season you're in right now in your life for Christ, recognize those two truths. The Master is coming back, but it could be quite a while before He does. And we need to live in the seasons between now and then. And that's today's Jumpstart.